After the Treaty of Troyes, France was all but dead. The Dauphin Charles, disinherited by his own parents, was a king with no kingdom, ruling over a shrinking territory in the south. Meanwhile, northern France was under English rule, efficiently governed by the regions of the infant English king. The English now aimed for the final prize to end all French resistance, the city of Orleans, the gateway to the south. In October 1428, the siege of Orleans began. If Orleans were to fall, the war would likely be over. Inside, the soldiers and people of Orleans resisted fiercely, but hope was dwindling. But in this context of absolute desperation, an extraordinary light appeared from the unlikeliest of places. As the news from Orleans worsened, even the Dauphin himself seemed to lose the will to fight. And then, a strange rumor reached the court. A peasant girl who claimed she was on a divine mission to save France. Facing a skeptical court, Jeanne had to prove her mission was real. She identified the Dauphin in a crowd, an act many took as the first sign of divine intervention. In a private conversation, Jeanne told the Dauphin things that only God could know, cementing his belief and convincing him to give her a chance. She transformed a dynastic struggle into a holy war for national liberation. With her inspiring leadership, the French army marched to Orleans. Her appearance provided a powerful unifying symbol. Bypassing the English siege lines, Jeanne entered the besieged city, bringing not just food, but hope. Jeanne's arrival significantly changed the morale of the French army and people. It revived the French belief in their cause. She instilled in them a new offensive spirit, ending the defensive mindset that had paralyzed them for months. And they were victorious. For the first time in months, the French had taken the offensive and defeated the English at Orleans. The first victory had turned skeptics into believers. Now they believed that with Jeanne, anything was possible. The assault on the remaining English positions was ferocious. The French fought with a valor fueled by faith. But then disaster struck. Jeanne was wounded, and the French morale began to waver. But Jeanne's courage turned potential failure into an unstoppable charge. This victory not only liberated the city, but also ended the English reputation of invincibility, paving the way for the coronation of Charles VII. After the victory, Jeanne fulfilled the second part of her promise, to lead Charles to Reims for his coronation. At Reims, Charles VII was finally crowned, solidifying his legitimacy and creating a symbol of unity for a divided France. This was the pinnacle of Jeanne d'Arc's triumph and the decisive turning point of the war. But Jeanne's peak of glory was short-lived. In 1430, during a skirmish, she was captured by Burgundian troops, allies of the English. She was sold to the English, who saw her not as a soldier, but as an ideological threat that had to be extinguished. In Rouen, a political show trial was arranged. The goal was not to find truth, but to destroy a French symbol. For months, she endured grueling interrogations, but her faith never wavered. Ultimately, she was condemned as a heretic. The sentence was death at the stake. In 1431, in Rouen, Jeanne d'Arc was burned at the stake. But in their attempt to extinguish her symbol, the English accidentally created a martyr. Her death further strengthened the French will to resist, turning her into an eternal icon. Jeanne's death became a guiding light. Under Charles VII's leadership, France undertook major military reforms, creating a standing army and investing in a new weapon, artillery. The new French army systematically reclaimed its territory, pushing the English out of Normandy and other long-occupied lands. In 1453, at Castillon, the final battle of the war took place. But this would not be a battle of the old kind. The English commander, John Talbot, made a fatal error, charging the French camp without proper reconnaissance. And then the French artillery spoke. The French artillery played the decisive role, annihilating the advancing English army. Talbot and his son were killed. The age of the heavy cavalry knight was over. The Battle of Castillon was the final battle of the war. France had won the final victory. The English were pushed out of nearly all of continental Europe. The 100 Years' War was over. What began as a dynastic war of nobles ended by forging two separate nations with hardened national identities. Its legacy shaped Europe for centuries, a testament to how prolonged conflict can catalyze profound social, political, and cultural change.